Everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Game 5 of Lucid's 2022 tournament where we are playing Nazca. This is turn 2. Let's jump into things. I still don't know. I still don't know if I'm going to keep that whole slew as the intro. We'll see. I think I'm just going to default to, hey, this is our Nazca game. Let's go. But anyways, it's turn 2. Let's see how things went. We talked a lot about the general concept of like the map and some of our opponents and knowing some starting positions and a lot about like the underwater situation. This is going to be a new turn where we kind of like fill the scenario, but there's a lot to talk about. So yeah, it should be fun. Right off the bat, we have completed Conjuration 1. Ba-boom. Very nice. Researching. Our research is going to be very good initially, and then it is going to flatline really fucking quickly. So we'll see how that goes. We're gonna go through all of these and just sometimes people have really fun names for their profits, so we'll see how that goes. We got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. Literally everyone except for me prophetized something. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Well, you know, sometimes it do be that way. Alright. Jumping in. Let's see what we got. Arcocephale, you're not a cop, right? The mounted commander shall hereby be known as the prophet of Caps Lock the Harvester, Master of Terror, the self-created master. Once upon a time, when I first started playing Dominion's multiplayer, when I first started playing Dom 5, I was like, oh, I want to go learn all the titles, because then, as soon as I see prophets, I'll be able to be like, yeah, blah, 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 and I'm like, no. I just never did that. That's just... I find these titles super interesting, and I love how some players will be like, oh, yeah, I know that means X. That's really cool. That ain't me. We've got Urkborn the Spy. Okay. We've got Alfred the Cave Captain. I don't know if that was renamed or not. We've got 3 slurp juices on a single ape. The hearse. Okay, Vanheim. We'll take it. Master of... This is a lot. Master of Blood and Perfume, Ruler of the Ocean Surface, Prince of the Eternal Sea, God of the Barge of Heaven. Now, obviously, right, it's Vanheim, so probably a fairly big rainbow bless there, right? Whereas almost nothing from Ulm, which is to be expected. Hungry Earth, Most High, Tamer of Demons, Prince of Opulent Halls. A fair amount from Agartha, it looks like. And a middling amount from Arcocephale. What do we got from Jotunheim? Zan's Mistress? Zan's side piece, Zan's Mistress. Alright. We've got the Remote and Inaccessible Lord, Prince of Death and Rebirth, the Persuasive One. So a little bit going on there. Not like a heavy one. Vanarus, the Great Vanarusian Hearse. The Vanarusian Hearse. The Great Wall. Is that what we're going for? Nice. The Divine Architect, he who felled the first tree. Very cool. So not very much going on for Vanarus. More scales, it looks like. Raphael, the Rephite Commander. Prophet of Danfazar, Prince of Nature, Master of Pain. So that suggests nature and blood, I believe. We got Sly Marbo, the Adite General, Prophet of Strong Independent Woman, Warrior in the Gale, Drinker of Blood, Princess of Near and Close. So a little bit going on for Nabah. Looks like some blood. Pelagia, we have Dropout Wizard Genius, Prophet of Bootleg Philosopher's Stone, Friend of Sailors, Lord of Fires, Prince of the Spring. Okay, interesting. I don't remember if Prince of Spring is tied to growth or if it's tied to nature or if it's a temperature scales. I think it's tied to growth. Fire is fire. Friend of Sailors, I don't know. I don't know if that's like air or water. It would make sense if it was water. Oceania, Orosthenes. I don't think this got changed, which is fine, right? Like, no need to change your prophets. I don't do it a lot of times. Echidna's Royal Simp, Lord of Untimely Death, okay. The one always at the shoulder, the Unforgiving Prince, interesting. And then we have Oad, the Ysian Commander, Shining Boat of Heaven, Prince of the Mountain Springs, Protector of the Holy Mountain, Lord of the Ocean Underneath. So this looks like we could have gotten a fair amount, or we have gotten a fair amount there. I said we could have because I was reading the name of the god and speaking a sentence at the same time. Okay, so cool. We've got a fair amount, or we got a lot of profits. We got some interesting little tidbits of information through some of the titles, so that's neat. We have our first little battle, but it's not really a battle, but we do have our first little battle. Let's see what we see. Alright, we are just here to ping, and oh my goodness. Okay, this is not the worst province on the face of the planet. It does have a fair amount of heavy infantry, which can be a little unfortunate. We're not really here to fight the heavy infantry, though. What is more concerning is there are 1, 2, 3, 4 commanders, meaning alpha striking this and killing the commanders is going to be way, way harder. So that's unfortunate. But I guess it is what it is. Let's see. We should retreat just fine. Did we successfully retreat, or did we lose our scout? We retreated successfully to Nazca. Technically, still a loss, though, because we have been beaten. So, battles for this turn versus Indies, we have 0 wins and 1 loss. We're starting off strong, right? Starting off strong. All right. And we have an unexpected event in Nazca. Come on, Luck 3 Scales. Let's see what we got. Fuck yourself. Some of the militia employed in defenses have been poorly trained. Many never showed up for exercises. Woo! Turn 2, Luck 3, let's go! Oh my god, okay. Events for this turn, Nazcan Defense -5. We don't like that. That's not good at all. That's very unpleasant in point of fact. We're probably going to need every point of defense that we can get on our capital. But we do have some good news. Blackbone's pirates have been purchased and will fight for our cause. Very good. Very, very good. Okay, fantastic. What do we have going on? Can we see anything? We can't see far enough to identify caps. That's okay. I think we're gonna look at thrones this turn, and then we will talk about all of the other stuff going on, right? Because I think once we get to turn 3 and kind of onwards, we're going to have real battles to watch, and we're going to have actual, like, diplomatic, manipulations and discussions and things like that to have, because we'll start to actually know what's going on, and et cetera, et cetera. But I think turn 1 and turn 2 are where you cover all the miscellaneous, like the map and the thrones and things like that. So let's jump into thrones. 12 tier 2 thrones, and right off the bat, I was specifically looking for 2 thrones. Now there are a lot of really good thrones for Nazca as a sacred-based nation, right? Like, some of these thrones are going to be very good for sacreds, right? But I was looking for 2 thrones very particularly, and that is the Throne of Life and the Throne of Gaia, because getting either of those, much less getting both of those, would be a fantastic boon for us, because we basically sacrificed our scaling economy in the hopes that if we put more into our bless, if we put more into other things, if we put more into luck, really, I'm trying to base things off of luck, which is a horrible idea. Don't base things off of luck. Sacrifice luck instead of sacrificing growth in the future. But if we are capable of getting either or both of these, that completely nullifies our issue there, right? Like Dominion gets growth 2, Dominion gets growth 1, boom, we're at growth 3, fantabulous. Now, the likelihood of that happening, the likelihood of getting both, very, very, very unlikely. The likelihood of getting one, though, is, I mean, we got 4 thrones around us, and each of those 4 thrones, or 3 of those 4 thrones, are in farmland, which is relatively indicative of a throne of life or a throne of Gaia. So that's very possible, right? So that's kind of cool. Kind of cool to see those. Also on the list, we have the Throne of Death. Now, that is less cool. There's a wasteland over here, right? Now, the thrones don't have to show up in any particular location, but sometimes they are more indicative in certain spots, right? So maybe we'll luck out and we won't have the Throne of Death, because that would not be fantastic. That is a nice death income, but I don't think we actually want to take death scales. I did as much as I could to avoid that. I really considered actually just going like full negatives on the scales and just taking the most god-awful hell bless I could get away with. And I probably should have done that. I probably should have done an Awake Expander rather than an Awake Researcher. And I probably should have just taken the craziest fucking Hellbless that I could manage to get on that Awake Expander, and just hoping that it allowed me to survive the upcoming onslaught. We have Throne of Misfortune, which is not something that we generally want, right? We invested in Luck 3, we want to benefit from Luck 3. People who want Throne of Misfortune are people who already have, like, Misfortune 3, right? So that's unfortunate. Throne of Fire, this would be amazing. Not really because we care about the Adepts of Pyrrhoplegaton, although they are fine. They're very good for certain people. Boosting fire ritual range could be really nice depending on where the throne is. Getting the 3 fire income is really nice for us, but not super necessary. But getting this attack skill plus 3 is a big deal for so many of our sacreds, right? Being able to hit on the Alpha Strike, that's big. Plus 3 is really big. So catching this Throne of Fire somewhere would be a big fucking deal, right? Throne of Earth is actually pretty interesting for us. The Gnome, less of a big deal, although it could be nice to have some Nature Earth, right? That could be okay for us. The Reinvigoration, though, is pretty nice. Not super astronomical, but pretty nice, right? Our mages, generally speaking, are going to be happy to have that +1 Reinvigoration. Like, I mean, no one's going to be like, oh, we don't want Reinvigoration. Well, I say that there are some circumstances where you don't want Reinvigoration, but it's very rare, right? So Throne of Earth would be pretty awesome for us, right? Throne of Water is kind of in that scenario with the Throne of Fire. Throne of Water and Fire are probably the best combat thrones for us. I would prefer to get the Throne of Life than Throne of Gaia just to cheat our growth scales up. But Throne of Water and Throne of Fire are so good for the attack skill and the defense skill. Throne of Water is also really good for us because we have trash, i.e. no access to water. And if we are to fight the underwater nations, we have a good handle with things like Supayas and Undead Chaff and just death magic in general, but adding water magic to it would be an incredible boon. So if we could get the Throne of Water, this would be great, period, for us, and this would be great, theoretically, for us against underwater nations, and also just to, like, add water to our repertoire, right? Like, I mean, being able to pull out a bunch of water elementals or some quickening. Quickening actually would be fucking dope. Because attack density is a relatively big problem for us. Being able to toss out some quickening on our pretty good sacreds would be, that would be fantastic, right? So Throne of Water would be very, very cool. Throne of Gaia, we've already kind of gushed about. Throne of Air, we don't really care about the Windmasters. That's kind of whatever. That does nothing really for us. Getting more air income, always, always, always very exciting. And getting air shield on all of our sacred troops would actually be pretty good. Now, we are probably going to go for Arrowfend early-ish on, depending on who we are near. And I say we're going to go for Arrowfend. Really, we're going to go for Rigor Mortis probably early on. And Arrowfend is just along the way, right? So this is less of an important thing, but it's still nice, right? Like, if we could get Air Shield, it would still be pretty good. I would not be unhappy to have it. If for no other reason than 3 more Air Gems is fucking awesome, right? So that's cool. Iron Throne. This is Adepts of the Iron Order. This is really kind of like a lot of people are like, hell yes, Adepts of the Iron Order. Fuck yeah. We don't really care, right? We've already got Koyas and Royal Malquis that'll do this for us. And honestly, I think these guys are more expensive than Koyas are. So really, really, really don't care about these. The 100 resources could be good depending on what's going on there, but really not something that we care too terribly much about. Silver Throne, 100 gold now, we'll fucking talk, right? Like, 100 gold per turn is no joke. I'll take that almost any time, right? Astral Air is something we still have access to with our Royal Malquis, but we have less access to that, generally speaking. So, this is more useful to us than the Iron Order is. Although, I mean, even the Iron Order isn't unuseful. It's just we have access to stuff like that already. Golden Throne, 200 gold per turn. Fuck yeah. Sign me up. Let's go. Abso-fucking-lutely. Astral Fire. Again, we have that with Royal Malquis, but this would be a Royal Malquis is not an easy thing to obtain or to, to pay for. So having these would be generally perfectly fine. I'd be more excited about the 200 gold than I would be about the Adepts, generally speaking, but not all the way. Like, we'd probably make a couple of these and be happy with it. And then we have the Throne of Knowledge, which is a little bit of a pass on us. Sages can be good, right? They're actually good researchers. If we got these early, that could be a pretty big thing for us. Having access to Astral ones is actually pretty good. We do have access to Astral. The problem is we're not really a super big Astral nation, and communions are interesting but dangerous things for us. So we would make use of the Throne of Knowledge. Lore Masters are a crapshoot, right? If you have a lot, I find Lore Masters are really good if you're a full scales nation and you just have the income to throw at them to be like, I'm gonna gamble on some Lore Masters. Let's see what we get. Fantastic. We got a Blood 3. I'm a Blood nation now, baby. Let's go, right? It's if you have the money to gamble on them, they're cool. Otherwise, it's kind of sages all day, right? So of these, we are most interested in Life and Gaia, and then probably Fire, Water. Things like Earth and Air would be pretty good. We are very uninterested in Death, except, that is still a lot of Death income, right? A push come to shove. Misfortune, do not want. Iron Throne, kind of ambivalent about. Throne of Knowledge, yeah, okay. Silver, golden, cool, money, great, fantastic. So we've got maybe about half, or a quarter that we're like, yeah, we're really interested in these, right? And then we have another 2 to 4 that we're like, okay, kind of interested. These would be nice. And then we have a couple that were like, either I legitimately do not want them, or I just don't really care. So that's a decent spread. That's exciting. So yeah, that'll be neat. Let us take a look at what we are actually doing this turn now. We are going to be our Dominion expanded. So we've got a little bit of understanding of what's around us, right? None of these are especially awesome provinces. So that's unfortunate, right? But they're also not incredibly bad provinces, right? None of these are sitting at the sub 5k mark. These would be good provinces if I had growth scales and they were going to grow, right? Like, these would easily get up to like 10, 12k in the mid-game to late-game type scenario, right? Which would be nice, but none of these are super mega awesome provinces. I can't see Bara yet, but we know what is there versus what is going on in these others. Now, we know Militia and Archers, we know Deer Tribe, we know Jaguar Tribe, right? Most of these are safe for us to attack. This heavy infantry is probably the riskiest, aside from this one, right? And Toledo, right? Bara is probably one of the riskiest ones for us to attack. We're going to attack it anyways because we got the Blackbone Pirates, right? If we had not gotten the Blackbone Pirates, I would not risk going at Bara. But I plan to use the Blackbone Pirates, use and abuse them as much as I can, basically, right? We're gonna throw them into the thick of things. They're probably gonna be killed to a man in the next 2 to 3 fights, right? So we'll see how that goes. For our setup, we have the Blackbone Pirates kind of mixed up in with our starting human warriors, right? The reason for this is our human warriors are combat speed 11. The pirates are combat speed 12. The pirates do hit hard enough that I do want them to be able to make contact because they will chop up the heavy infantry. Whereas my human warriors will not do as good necessarily, right? So I'm just kind of mixing those two to give the pirates a chance of not getting immediately shattered, right, as soon as they make contact with the heavy infantry. We'll see how that goes. We're going to be on fire closest with the Alkakruna archers. They are slightly up here because the reason I'm doing that is because we had, if we view the battle, we had these militia, right, on the top side here. So the hope is that we will target these militia with our arrows rather than the heavy infantry, because arrows are going to do probably nothing to the heavy infantry, but they might do something to the militia, right? Now they do have shields, so yeah, it's a 50-50 kind of scenario. But maybe if militia route very easy. So if we can get 1 or 2 barrages into them that actually get a couple kills, we might be able to route them off pretty quickly. We have commanders on hold and stay behind troops. Then we have our Akla, right? She is going in and doing blessing air shield. Now, we shouldn't need the air shield, but I'm just scripting that because I don't want to forget it for later. Because it sucks when your Akla gets sniped by something very early on in its expansion, right? So we're doing blessing. One blessing should probably hit all of these, but we're double upping on the blessing just in case. We are hold and attack rear. We have 4 Condor Warriors and 2 Hatenruna. It is entirely possible that these all die. But the hope is that most of this, right, in 2 turns, 1 turnish here, 1 turnish here, right, they should already be getting shot at by my archers, which are going to be around here. Our guys are going to be about here. Then we drop, and what I'm hoping is most of these guys are probably going to follow up their troops. This guy will probably follow up that. Here and here. I'm hoping these are probably going to be bodyguards for this, for this priest. I'm hoping we can drop on him and just kill him and his bodyguards, and then maybe we'll get lucky sniping out these guys, right? So yeah. So that's the hope. It might go south because, again, we have -1 morale because this Akla is not a good leader. And we are mixing these Haten Runa with these Condor Warriors. Condor Warriors have 12 morale outside of this province. The Haten Runa have 7. So that's going to decrease the overall group's morale. And then it also has a -1 because of this leadership. So the Haten Runa might die on the charge and then immediately rout the Condor Warriors. I hope that that's not the case, but we'll see how it goes, right? It just is what it is. I also have my god scripted with Air Shield and Twist Fate. I don't know why. I don't remember why I did this. I think I was just noodling around. I don't think I had any plans to send my god out to do anything. We could later on, but the plan is absolutely just research up to Conjuration 3 as quickly as possible. So, that's what's happening there. We're attacking into Bara. I'm relatively confident that we will take Bara, but we might do so with a fair amount of attrition. Then we are also pinging Forest of Pine just to get a good idea of how many Jaguar tribe are here. If it is about 40, then probably we'll be able to move from Bara into Forest of Pine, right? Another reason why, this is another thing that I wanted to talk about, another reason why I'm attacking Bara and not potentially one of these easier provinces, is because Bara is a mountain and I need resources, okay? So, recruitment this turn, we are getting 2 Apus and 3 Condor Warriors, right? So, let's talk about that. What our goals are and what our pain points are. We are fucking resource constrained, right? Constrained. We don't have a lot of gold either, but resources right now are kicking our ass. So if we can get Bara and get another 20 or 30 resources out of this, then that will help us hit the amount of Condor Warriors we want to hit every turn. The sooner we are able to hit the amount of Condor Warriors we want every turn, the sooner we're able to reach that critical mass of Sacreds where we alpha strike on the drop and we're doing better, right? That is going to be very painful. Part of the reason why we don't have enough resources this turn, though, is because we are getting Apus. I say that, but even without these 2 Apus, well, I guess without an Apu, we could get 1 Condor Warrior. But I want 2 Apus this turn. Why do I want 2 Apus this turn? Because 1 is going to be reinforcements, right? The other is going to suicide into a province so that we can get a Malqui, right? The sooner we can get Malquis out, the sooner we can start producing Haten Runa, the sooner we can set up a patrolling Haten Runa infrastructure, the sooner that we have large amounts of Haten Runa to be able to throw at places. We should, by the end of the first year, have 100 to 200 Haten Runa that we can either use in a starting war, or we can use to wrap up expansion, right? Because Haten Runa will die in droves, but if you throw 60 of them at a province of 30, mostly militia, they'll still tend to kill everything in there, and if they don't, right, they'll still kill a fair amount of it, meaning you can take it easier with less attrition with other troops, right? So, we're still going to go for the Apus into the Malquis. Probably next turn as well, we will recruit another 2 Apus. Again, because 1 will be leading troops, the other will be suiciding, and then after that, we're probably going to move into some better commanders, right? So we'll see how that goes, though. It kind of depends on, like, the goal here is to have, by turn 4 or 5, to have, like, 15-ish Condor Warriors, because about 15 Condor Warriors being blessed up, 10 to 15 Condor Warriors being blessed up and dropping in the backfield is generally enough to finish most fights early on, right? So yeah, that is the generalized game plan. That's the recruitment. That is... those are the Thrones of Ascension that we've discussed. No new information about whether this is Ashdod or Nabah, right? No new information about who's to the west of us, who's to the east of us. Yeah. Oh, should be about a-okay. Oh, mercenaries. Motherfucking Dante's Stingers. Holy shit. You son of a bitch. Now, I say this like Dante's Stingers are so fucking amazing. They're not. They're absolutely not. But they would have been way, way better for us than Blackbone's Pirates would have been. And the reason is Blackbone's Pirates, they hit acceptably hard, but they do not have good defensive statistics, and they're going to get shot down potentially by our own archers because they don't have good protection or shields or helmets, right? Whereas, if we flip over to... the Inspector, we can see the Spearmen here have all of those things, right? Like, they have better protection because they have better armors, right? We have a Hauberk versus a Cuirass, right? So the Hauberk is more protection. They have iron caps, and they have shields, right? They do less damage. Their spear only does 3, so that's a 13 damage spear. But it does have a chance to repel, whereas the falchion's length 1. So you're looking at a more defensive units. And I think, generally speaking, that's what we want when we're working on expansion, is we want units that aren't going to die in droves. We kill relatively well, right? What we don't do is survive. So it's very unfortunate that we spent 210 gold on Blackbone's Pirates, and then Dante's Stingers show up, because Blackbone's is 25 men for 180 pounds. Stingers are 30 men for 150 pounds. So we kind of got ripped off there. But there's a reason why no one... I don't think anyone probably contested us on Blackbone's. But we needed to go that route anyways. Because again, right, even if we had the 210 gold right now, we would not be able to afford more units because we don't have the fucking resources, right? So, I will say this, though. The alternative, and some people will argue this, is that we could have saved that 210. We could have saved a lot of the other gold that we have right now. And we could be going for a Royal Malquis, or more specifically, we could be buying a Priestess on her own. Right? If we just did that, we could just straight buy a Malquis Priestess and still get a Condor Warrior. And then we could turn that Malquis Priestess into a Prophetess and immediately start shoveling out Supayas. And there is merit to that. Absolutely there is merit to that. But in doing that, we do not get the Malquis set up either, right? And while obviously Supayas are better than Malquis, or better than the Hatan Runa, getting an extra, in our timeline, getting an extra 4 to 6 Supayas versus getting an extra 40 to 60 Hatan Runa is like, yes, the Supayas actually might survive longer than the Hatan Runa, but I can think of a few more uses for the Hatan Runa, you know? So yeah, it's not a perfect scenario. Man, I'm really sad that the first unexpected event we got was a negative minus defense, right? We could have gotten some gems, we could have gotten an item, we could have gotten some gold, right? Like, gold would have been nice. Get like a little 200 gold event and afford Dante's Stingers, and then combine the Blackbone Pirates and Dante's Stingers and just march around this whole area and get all the things, right? That would have been chef's kiss, but that is not to be. So yeah, I think that is going to be it for the turn. Excited to see where it goes. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching.
If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.